Hey, how's it going? Thanks for guys stopping by, checking out my YouTube channel, checking out my YouTube page. Today's video is on my John Deere 1025R. Don't mean to vent on you guys, but I have a neighbor who hasn't actually cut his lawn in 2 years. Sounds absolutely ridiculous. So last year I cut it 3 times just because I couldn't stand the grass being over 6 feet tall. And this year I was cutting it. It looks like to be a jerk, he looks like he threw a brick in the middle of where I was cutting, maybe about 8 feet into his property. That's a story in itself. But meanwhile, the reason I'm making this video is because I hit a brick and it bent my blade. Let's see if we can catch that. Oh yeah, that's pretty obvious. Look at that. See how downward direction that is? Let's see if I set this camera in. Yeah, it's definitely in a downward direction. I'll be able to see that a lot better when I pull that off. So what I want to do is, I know everyone's gonna yell at me and say, hey Rick, just take the deck off. And meanwhile, while you got the deck off, flip it upright, clean underneath the deck lid, and change the blades out. Okay, so here's the deal. When I bought this tractor, somehow, some way, they accidentally gave me a different deck that was on the finance paperwork for when I purchased this. So I told them, hey, no big deal, I don't care, just change the serial numbers on the paperwork, whatever, right? I'm already using it, it's not a big deal. I did 2 cuts on it and they didn't want to, so they physically came to my house, removed the deck that was on there, and installed this deck because they said this is the serial number for the one that I purchased, and it would just make titling and all that jazz just a pain in the butt to switch it around, which seems ridiculous to me. But at any rate, when they swapped that out, oh my god, my cut was like this. I mean, it was just so bad off. I called and argued with them. I said, look, this thing was cutting immaculately. You guys swapped this deck out and it just cuts like trash. And to top it off, when they went to actually switch the decks out, they struggled hard. I mean, these are guys who work on John Deere every single day, in-house, meaning at their shop, and they physically come to your house or your farm or wherever it is and do repairs. And I'm thinking, if these guys are struggling that hard, then how hard is it going to be for me? And I'm on YouTube, I'm looking around, and I think it's kind of like a hit or miss. Either people are just getting it without a problem, or they're struggling really hard, and all these adjustments need to be made. And I saw them adjusting screws on the bottom just to get, I mean, they struggled. So they came back, they tried to adjust it, they couldn't adjust it, they couldn't get it right. They cut my lawn, and they said okay, so they took it back to the dealership. And they called me and told me, oh, the reason it's cutting bad is because you bent your blades. You must have hit something. And I said, no, I absolutely did not hit nothing. There's nothing wrong with my blades. So they're going back and forth arguing with me. So I said, okay. I said, well, how much are the blades? So they basically gave me the blades that cost. So I said, tell you what, I'm not going to argue with you. Go ahead and replace your blades and cut it and see if that fixes the problem. I don't believe it will. But I don't want you to throw away those blades. I want those blades. And lo and behold, guess what? I got those blades back. And they weren't bent at all, so they had to do obviously some adjusting on the deck. So as I'm replacing this, because you're wondering, why am I bringing this all up, Rick? This is not a rant. I'm scared to take that off, to be honest with you, because look, I got a ton of work to do. What is today? It's Memorial Day weekend, and I've just been behind because of all this rain. If I had all day to tinker with this, no big deal, but I don't. I have a ton of work I need to do, and I don't have time to take this off and then I have a problem and spend half the day getting it dialed in right. So I had a zero turn that I used for 7 years, and yes, you could take the deck off on a zero turn just the same, but I never did. I just raised the deck up as high as it would go, and I put a wrench on the top to hold the bolt, and since there's a big enough gap, I just took it off with the deck still on. So since I did that easily, and I actually on my zero turn would take the blades off on a regular basis to sharpen them, I don't think that would be a problem doing this as well. So I mean, at anything, this zero turn has way more, this tractor has way more of a gap underneath the deck and the ground than my zero turn has. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see if I can get that off. So I'm gonna get my tools out here and take that plastic cover off and see if I can get these blades off. And then, like I said, because of what happened, I already have another set of blades, which is phenomenal. Which is it's a great saver right now, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to cut my grass. So yeah, so without further ado, sorry for my little rant in the beginning. Let's take this apart and let's see how easy it is to change this, you know, without removing it. All right, I got this set up on a tripod here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off. Let's see if I can find what size that is. Oh man, look at that. Lucky on the first try. That's a 1/2 inch. That doesn't happen often, right? I picked this nice husky step at Home Depot. I'll tell you what, it's nice. It pretty much has anything you could need to work on to take something apart. My garage is just, man, I own 2 shops at once. I own 2 different body shops, 2 detail shops, so I have probably a lot more hand tools than the average person, you know, that obviously own the business. But those are my toolbox, you know, and they're just a pain in the butt to drag out and all that, and it's nice to have that set just to pull out and lay next to you. I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna put this on. I think every mower I have, probably should have grabbed an impact. Every mower I have, I think I've broken this, and that's because I'm trying to sneak between trees. The property has a ton of trees, so I'm always trying to sneak between trees. Washer right here that's making that not fall down. So deal with that in a minute. Eventually I wouldn't mind converting this to a mulch kit. That's a 10 millimeter that's there. On my zero turn, this rubber piece that's like right by the belt, I took it off and I left it off because I kept finding that that debris was sitting here. It was always rubbing my belt, and it was actually wearing my belt out. So I think it's like more of a protection thing, you know, from you kicking stuff in and damaging the belt. But just my property, the way it is, cutting under pines and all kinds of stuff, it just felt like it was just, rather than doing its job, it was actually making it worse. It was like a catch-all. Still holding on. My uncle, when I was a kid, and I'd be working on stuff, and stuff you can't see, and you know, you're trying to fumble with your fingers. He'd always yell at me, "Close your eyes." I'm like, what? Close your eyes. Why am I closing my eyes? Then you're not focused on trying to see it, and you just focus on what you're doing, and it'll be a lot easier. And as retarded as that sounds, it's always helped me. I can't see it, so it's hard to judge what size it is. Let's see, I think it's a 13. Alright, I got it. Lose it. Take her off. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at all this. People are gonna say, "Well, Rick, you should take that off." And I tell you, I take my blower and I blow under here, but I guess there's a big enough gap that it's not like rubbing, but on the zero turn there wasn't as big as a gap, and it was literally like almost like causing like a fire from that thing spinning so hard. Now let's see if I can figure out what size it is. So this bottom bolt is actually a 18 millimeter. Yeah, it came right off. Not hard at all. I am going to torque that back on because I don't want to over tighten that and then mess up my bearings or whatever, or have it come loose. But yeah, she's a little bent. Definitely bent. This one way down there. It's supposed to be straight like this. So, alright. Easy peasy. I'm gonna go grab a board and I'll use the board to wedge in there to hold the second one, but I didn't have to take this off. Literally. I wish I would have caught it. I just literally just did a little oomph and it came loose. And I'm not saying like it came loose like it was loose, like it's only 90 pounds, so it's not a whole lot of pressure on there. So I'm gonna go grab a board and I'll just be able to 2x4 wedge it in there and take it off. So honestly, as much hassle as I've seen people go through, like taking this off and like freaking out, getting it back on, screw that. It's just as easy as my zero turn, especially with this already off. If I had to, and I wanted to grab this, put a wrench in there and hold it so I can push it in two different directions. That's how I was doing my zero turn. But otherwise, you can just stick a board in there and wedge it so that the blades can't spin and take it off. And I'm gonna take them all off, do the right thing. So let me go find a 2x4 or something I can use. I'll be back and then I'll show you how to do the other ones. Alright, well, I sharpened up the old blades, and as you can see, they're actually perfecto. They're not bent. This one, yeah, the blades aren't bent at all anywhere. And they sharpened up real nice. So, and then I went and got this old shovel. Head broke off. I'm going to attempt to use that as a wedge. We'll see how that works out. Let's give it a shot. The blades are still kind of hot from the grinder. I'm going to try to reach for... I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but it's kind of dark under there, but used to someone to be able to see, so I'm going to take a... Can you see? Kind of, right? Well, if this video's poor, I'm sorry. But I'm going to try to wedge this, see if that works like that. Let's give it a shot. And I can, oh, look at this. Scrape that out too. Yeah, that's a lot of junk in there. Yeah, decent amount of grass stuck under here. I've never actually, to be honest with you, done that. Attach the hose thing to it. When I give this thing a wash today, I think I'm gonna try. Alright, well, let's back to try and get this bolt off. Yeah, this other one spun out really pretty easy. It was not difficult like that at all. Alright. Alright. You're gonna put up a fight. I came prepared. I got the breaker bar. I will not give up easily. Come on. It's like chopsticks. It's because this thing wants to turn on me. I may need to get a 2x4. Let's see if I can put it all the way through across and see if that's gonna. That may do it right there because it has that arch on it. Let's see. I think that'll do it. Holy shit. Make sure this is going the right way. Yeah. It's literally, that pole is fiberglass. I think it's gonna break it. That's how tight it is. I mean, oh God, it won't come off. Holy cow. That is not coming off. These guys, they had to have impacted that. There's no way they torqued that down. They impacted it. not only did they impact it, I gotta show this, but they kind of like rounded out that bolt, like they impacted it. That may have been a fuck you from the dealer from getting mad from having to change these out. I'm gonna have to get an impact. I maybe even should replace this bolt. They obviously way over tightened this. This is not tightened to spec. I mean, using a breaker bar, I can't even get it off, and it looks like these nuts here are rounded over, and the only person who's ever serviced this or touched this at all has been the dealer. So there's no way that I'm going to believe that this was tightened down with a torque wrench. 100% this was tightened down with an impact, because this bad boy is tight. And I don't know that I can get my impact in here. I definitely can't. It's too big. I can try, but I don't think I can, to be honest with you. I'm going to move the tractor closer to the garage. I'm laying in my driveway. I'm moving the tractor closer to the garage so I get this off. But 100% that they use an impact. The only thing that worries me is that this thing flying on me, so I may definitely not use a fiberglass shovel to hold this in place. I'm going to have to use something a lot stronger so it doesn't kick back and cut my arm off. But yeah, they rounded this out. These are not right. Looks like the last one looks pretty good. It looks like fine, but this one dead in the center, these bolts are almost stripped. So I've never touched this before. This is the first time I've been underneath this tractor. So that was 100% done by the dealership. That's very disappointing, actually. That's very disappointing. To me, that was intentional to tighten them down that tight and to strip that bolt out. That was 100% intentional. Not cool. Not cool at all. Alright, well, let's move this tractor then and see if I can get it out with an impact. Alright, that should do it. Sorry. Let's put this 2x4 back in here. Yeah, definitely do it. Okay, and then I spun it. Yep. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that was. You can see those marks. They impacted the hell out of that. That was a screw you, Rick. That's what that was. But you can see I'm clearly underneath the deck now. I just used the bucket to raise it, and I don't have to take it off. So the other side obviously is gonna be a hell of a lot easier. Just leave that in there. Go on the other side. Since I already have the impact, I'll use it to take it off. But I for damn sure not gonna use it to put on. I'll torque it down. I have a torque wrench. You know. That's not a good thing. So I'll get this all cleaned up. I don't, you know what? I will never take this off to change his blades. Now that I got this all figured out, I'm I'm laughing to myself because all of a sudden in my head I hear that stupid guy, I'm gonna do some sketchy shit. I'm gonna do some sketchy shit. I'll show you how I'm lifting up the bucket. May not be a bad idea. It's parking brakes on, but it may not be a bad idea to put some wheel chucks in the back so it can't roll back on me. But yeah, I'm not taking it off at all. I can clean underneath this deck perfectly. I can service underneath these, take these on and off. And like I said, somebody's gonna say who's good at taking this on and off. Like, I can drive off and drive on. You know, like, you're not gonna tell me you're gonna take this off and put this on in the amount of time it takes me just to raise the front bucket. So in a pinch, maybe you do this too. But then you can sing that song, I'm gonna do some sketchy shit. But anyways, I'm happy at least I got it off. So let me go to the other side and get that one off and take these blades off. And this blade doesn't look bad at all. But I'll sharpen it up, and next time I need it, this blade don't look bad at all. I'll sharpen up, and next time I need to switch blades, I already have an extra set of blades, so at least 2 blades sharpened, because one of them I'm going to throw out. I'm not going to bend that straight. I don't want to take a risk of it weakening and come flying off, hit one of my kids, or kill somebody, or chop someone's leg off. But at least I'll have 2 blades that are sharpened. All right, let me get the other one off. Easy peasy. Yep. Alright. Time to put the new ones on. Well, the old ones sharpened, I guess I should say. I think before I put the new ones on, I'm gonna clean all this out. Let me get that scraper and scrape all this out. A lot easier with the blade out of the way. And then put it on. I'm sure you don't want to watch me scrape all this out, but it's really covered in grass. So let me get this cleaned out, and then when I come back, I'll be putting these on. And I'm just gonna kind of tighten them by hand, and then once they're all on, then I can use like this blade to wedge that blade not to move, and vice versa, you know, because you spin one, they all spin. So I'll use one of the others to make them tight. So let me just pause this video real quick, and then I'll jump back in once this is all cleaned out. So if you're wondering how I did this, I used the front to raise it up, and then you could put some wheel chucks, or I just lowered my bucket and set my bucket down. It's not sitting on the frame there, it's just sitting on the bucket. Not hurting anything. And I was able to clean underneath here. It looks pretty good now. It's not spotless, but sure as hell looks a lot better than it was before. You'll be able to see all the, look all that grass that's on the ground. So yeah, back out here. Yeah, so a lot of grass on the ground, and like I said, plenty of clearance. Obviously, you know, do any of this at your own risk. I was just mindful at all times that, you know, where my body was positioned. I wasn't honestly super worried that this thing was going to fall on me, because I have it wedged in the back. If I didn't have a bucket on the back, I would have definitely put some wheel chucks behind my tires. And being a bore guy for a long time drilling, I was used to hydraulic things leaking. So my mindset is that if this thing was going to leak, it'd kind of piss out, you know, not just immediately drop. It'd slowly start to lower, and then give myself a chance to move out the way. But I just was mindful where my body was positioned, you know, not putting my head anywhere, because with this even laying flush in the ground with the deck all the way up, as you saw earlier, I could put my entire arm underneath here, right? So I wouldn't be pinned in any way. But from either side, I can pretty much reach, you know, anywhere under here, all the way to the center. And my body's actually out, just my shoulders length in here. So, and I felt comfortable working. I wasn't nervous or whatever. But got this all cleaned out, so I'll put the blades back on now. The old sharpened blades. And this is the way I'm going to do it. You know, like I said, I think anytime the first time you do something takes you a little longer, right? Because you're figuring it out as you go along. But just put it up in my driveway, because it's a hard spot. It's a, you know, hard surface, not, you know, grass, so it can start sinking from the weight. You know, just lift it up, and I had this whole area to work on, and, you know, clean it up. I'm fine with this. You know, like I said, other guys who are really comfortable with taking this on and off, perfect. You know, have at it. But if you're not comfortable with taking this on and off, like myself, then I think this is not a problem. And I've done this so many times with my zero turn, it just seems natural to me. Like, this is the way I'd be doing it anyways. You know, but to lean this upwards and all these other things I see other guys doing, I don't really have a dire need to have to do it that way. I feel comfortable doing it this way. So I'll put these blades on, and like I said, yeah, you know, so to each his own. But if you're nervous about taking this off, and you don't want to have misalignment issues, or not get it to grab, or not you know, actually mount right, or just the whole headache of it, then just do this. You know, like I said, you know, do everything at your own risk. But worked well for me. So let me get the blades put on. put it on by hand. Let's get it. Obviously it's not tightened, and then once they're all on, then I'll snug them all down. Small commercial break. Look at my son. He's got the little John Deere tractor over here. He's picking stuff up. And what are you putting in it? You putting your bike in there? You put in the tractor? So if you don't, guys don't have one of these for your sons or grandsons, you should pick one of these up. I got a little video I'll drop in the description of him doing this, but pretty cool when you guys are out working and he's got one along with you. My daughter's 14 and she actually gets on it too, so she puts them in the back and rides it, so it's pretty powerful. And if you're wondering how these go and you feel weird, you can't put them on backwards because this is cupped. This is cupped. So it has to go this way so the blade is facing. So if you're questioning yourself or doubting yourself, did I put this on right? You can't put it on wrong. It won't let you. Like I know my zero turn, you actually could. But this one, because the blade's cuffed in the middle, you can't put it on upside down. Can't put it upside down. So cool. I think the last bolt is over where I had the tractor before I moved it. So I gotta go grab that really quick. Man, I'm just seeing a ton of ants and I'm laying here on the ground. I'm gonna get rid of those bad boys. And obviously I'm just spinning this by hand to make sure that the two blades aren't hitting each other. It's not a misalignment issue, and then I'm not hitting the edge of the deck. So it's solid. All right, let's go get the farthest one on. All right, so I got this 2x4 over the top of the blade so that when it spins, it hits it and it doesn't allow it to continue to go that way. Got this torque on there. Let's wait for I hear that click. All right, you heard it. Let's torque down. Just get this out of my way. Go down to the next one. I do the same exact thing with the 2x4. Spin it towards me, and then it'll hit it. It's on there. Wait for me to hear the click. You heard that? Alright, I know that one's clicked. Alright, then I'm gonna go on the other side and do the last one, and I'm all done. I think might need to be on the other side, I'd say. Yeah. Might be on this side. For that click. Alright. Click. I'm tight. So I was getting ready to edit this video and I thought, oh, I'm an idiot. That was another way I could have done it. Since I had the bucket on the back, I could have used those. I could have raised it up. So either way, you know, that's another option. So you can try it. You know, if you're not comfortable with the bucket, do that. You know, if you don't have this bucket, then you gotta do that. But that gives you a couple different options, you know. But I think next time I'm just gonna use the back ones. Lift it up. That's plenty of space. And a little more less touch. I'm gonna do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. But anyway, the other way worked. But I just had to add that really quick. And then I thought it's kind of retarded too that I didn't show you all the grass I got out, and I might do all this work and not even show you how's it cutting afterwards. So let's do that really quick. That was a lot of crap in there. So that was a decent amount messed up. So definitely worth cleaning that out. Like I said, that'll keep it from rusting. Expensive deck, you don't want it to rust out. All right, let's get it dropped lower down and let's do a quick pass just so you can see how good it's cutting out with some nice sharp blades. And if you're interested in learning how to sharp blades, I'll do a video on that as well. Well, there it is. That's how you change your blades without taking your deck off. So I obviously can do it a lot faster now the second time, right? But first time is kind of figure out how I'm going to do it. So you learn with me. Just setting that bucket like that, and it worked out fine. Worked out perfect. So I'm happy. Now I can get to work, start cutting some grass. It just never ends, right? Thanks for watching. God bless. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I got a ton of videos coming. This is my first year owning this, so I'm going to do a video on, you know, what I like, what I don't like, what broke, you know, and just my overall experience. I love this machine, but nothing's perfect. So, but definitely nice to have this versus using a zero turn. I'll go into more details on that, but basically, like, to stick to the subject of what this video is on. I hope you liked it. I hope you try it. Let me know what you think. If you want, you can sing the song along as you're doing it. I'm gonna do some sketchy shit. Do da, do da. It is what it is, but it's done. Thanks for watching. God bless. Goodbye.